Hey, so guess what? We about to do a surprise series. I've been running dry on content on TikTok, been doing other things, but why don't we dip back into something? I brought up Jude's letter, so why don't we go ahead and get to it? First of all, who even is Jude? Well, you'll be happy to know he actually tells us, he identifies himself for us. Let's get into it. Jude, or Judas, as it is in the Greek, a slave, a doulos, of Jesus Christ and brother of James. Now, it's interesting, real quick, it's interesting that he identifies himself in this way. He doesn't call himself the brother of Jesus. He calls himself the slave or the servant, the doulos of Jesus Christ. Now, he also adds that he's the brother of James. This James right here is the same James that wrote the letter, that the letter of James or from James. And that James was also understood to be the brother of Jesus. That same James, the James who wrote the letter of James, he was the bishop of the church in Jerusalem. And I got Eusebius Church Histories right here, this book 2, chapter 23, the martyrdom of James, the brother of the Lord. The Jews, after Paul had appealed to Caesar and had been sent by Festus to Rome, frustrated in their hope of entrapping him by the snares they had laid, turned themselves against James, the brother of the Lord, okay, to whom the episcopal seat at Jerusalem was committed by the apostles, okay. The following were their nefarious measures also against him. We ain't gonna get into that, but yeah. So anyways, that's why I'm telling you guys that this Jude right here, this Jude is not only the brother of James, but he's also the brother of Jesus Christ himself. He's not only the bond slave, the bond servant, the doulos of Jesus Christ, he is also the brother of Jesus Christ. Now, I also want to mention this other scholarly historical fact. Letters like Jude's letter and James's letter weren't immediately received or accepted as canon. The early Christians weren't too sure to accept it as canon, or at least authoritative scripture. They believed they came from who they claim to have come from, but whether or not they should include it with Paul's letters and the Gospels, they weren't too sure. And the same is true for Revelation. So before you try to be like, well, why do we accept them now? Well, look, Revelation was the last book to be accepted into the canon, even though the early Christians believe it, they knew and they believed that John actually wrote it. Anyways, these are just fun little facts, giving you a little more background, helping strengthen you guys as far as your knowledge of these things go. Anyways, let's get back to it. Let's keep it going. So Jude, slave of Jesus Christ, brother of James, to those who are called, who are the called, ekletos is what that Greek word is, beloved in God the Father and kept for Jesus Christ. Jude says, may mercy and peace and love be multiplied to you. Now, Christians are called many things in the New Testament. Christian is just one of them, but they're also called the kletos, which is the called or the invited, the called ones, right? Ecclesia is another kind of variation, belongs to the same family of words, but it means the called out ones. We translate it to church, but ecclesia, that's what that word means, or that's what it refers to, those who were called out. So, I mean, a summary of just these two verses, who's our author? Our author is Jude. Who is Jude? Jude is Jesus's brother, one of Jesus's brothers. He's also the brother of James. And who's he writing to? He's writing to believers. He's writing to Christians, those who are the called. So catch y'all in part 2.